Guys, what's going on? It is Big Robb, MakeBeerEasy.com, back with another brewing training video for you. I got an audience today. My daughter's in the background, so she's over there giggling and teeing. So if you see me smile a little bit or start yelling at her, that's what's going on. Cheers to you fine people. Today, believe it or not, and I do find it hard to believe, we are going to talk about how to brew a non-alcoholic brew. Non-alcoholic homebrew. Never in a million years did I think Big Robb would be writing a blog post or doing a video on how to brew a non-alcoholic beer, but yet here we are. This is not a non-alcoholic brew. This is a fully alcoholicized beverage. What are my thoughts on the non-alcoholic brews? Number one, I get it. I get why people want to do it. Recently, I've enjoyed some from time to time. They've come a long way in taste. What was the company? I'm going to give them a shout out here, so they better respect the shout out. I think it's Athletic Brewing Company. They have an IPA that I tried, and man, it was you couldn't tell the difference. What's the other one they had? They had a golden ale. Excuse me, and it you could tell, but barely. Okay, so clearly their hopping process with the IPA is countering the typical bitterness that you get from a non-alcoholic beer. So it's bringing back the hop aroma flavor type of deal. So anyway, I tried it. I've tried it a few times. I did it at my brew pub. I didn't sell the beer I made because as I talk about my blog post and maybe in this video, hard to you can't use a hydrometer to determine that the alcohol's all gone. So for whatever legal purposes, I just didn't feel comfortable saying it was non-alcoholic beer when I really couldn't for sure tell, but I could tell because it didn't even give me a buzz. So it was the alcohol, she was gone. Okay, so I get it. So it's cool to do. Why not? It's today's a Saturday, so I'm definitely having alcohol in my beer. On a Wednesday, after work, whatever, I've if I just want the taste of a beer, but don't want all the other effects that we've come to know, love, and kind of hate, then why not go with a non-alcoholic beer? So there's four real ways. Let me get into it. I'm going to put the link to the blog under this video. If you're on YouTube, you can check it out. If you're on the blog already, well, you're there. So there's four main ways that you could make beer without alcohol. Okay, the first two, no way that a home brewer is going to do it, and I don't know a lot about them. It's more for the big commercial breweries. It's vacuum distillation as well as reverse osmosis, basically filtering. Okay, and kind of expensive for a home brewer to get into that. I mean, perhaps reverse osmosis you could swing somehow. I wouldn't bother. But those are the first two methods. The third method is one that I figured when I first started trying to do it at my pub that it'd be the way to go, and that is to tweak your brewing method, okay? Basically, I figured the best way to do it would be to basically make a beer, but use specialty grains more than base grains. So didn't have as much sugars that were fermentable, okay? By using more specialty grains. That makes more of a beer soda is what happens. It's more like a beer Kool-Aid. When you're making non-alcoholic beer, in order to get it to taste like beer, you actually need it to first become beer, okay? And then from there, you remove the alcohol, all right? So I don't recommend to tweak your brewing process. I mean, some people will do it by adjusting the temperature at different points during the mash in order, to not release as many sugars, and it's kind of complicated. And like I say, in the end, I didn't do it. I looked into it a lot, but decided to go with the other method, which is what is recommended, and that's what we're going to talk about today, which is method number 4, which is the boil-off method. Okay, so you go ahead and you brew your beer, man. You brew your beer the way you normally brew a beer. I don't care if it's with a kit. I don't care if it's partial mash. I don't care, all grain, whatever system you're doing. Just brew your beer. Sure, there's some beers that are better suited to non-alcoholize, let's call it. IPAs and that are a little tricky because when you remove the alcohol from the beer, it really makes the beer bitter. IPAs are already really bitter, so you're gonna have a super ultra bitter beer. A way around that is to just, when you're brewing your IPA, if you want to remove the alcohol, use half the amount of hops you typically would during the brewing process, okay? Because you're gonna, trust me, your beer's gonna be bitter enough. Full-bodied beers are better, okay? You know, well, what would be, you know, an amber, something like that, with more body to it, okay? They make good beers to take the alcohol. It sounds so dirty even saying that, taking the alcohol. It's cringe. Like, what are you talking about? But anyway, staying on track. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna brew your beer normally. Again, doesn't matter what way you do it. And then the removing alcohol stage, all you're gonna do is you're either, what? Oh, that's what happens when we talk about, my daughter's dying over there. That's what happens. Beer gods are saying, what are you doing talking about taking alcohol to the Beer Robb? Camera down, man down. Smarten the hell up. All right, let's try that again. Okay, so it was getting to the important parts. You can see that the beer gods do not want me to share this information with you, and I do feel bad about it, but here we go. So what you're going to do is you're going to take your beer, you're going to heat it up, all right? So what we're doing is we're boiling the alcohol out of the beer, okay? Just so dirty. Boiling the alcohol out of the beer, so the boiling point of alcohol is lower than water, okay? So the boiling point, I think it's 173.3 degrees Fahrenheit and 78.5 degrees Celsius. 180 is where you want to go, okay? 180 degrees Fahrenheit. I don't know what that is Celsius, guys. You can do, yes I do. It's 83 degrees. My blog post, I broke it down, did the calculation for you. I actually just Googled that shit. But anyway, so 2 ways to do that. One, you can put it back into your kettle, okay? And you know, have your thermometer there, you know, keep it at 80. The problem there is you probably want to stir it because you want to get all of the liquid heated up to the 180, okay? But the elements at the bottom. What a lot of people will do is they will put it in the oven. So you get a pot and you put however much of your beer that you want to take the alcohol out of, and you put it in a pot, okay? And you put it in the oven at 180 degrees. What was I going to tell you about that? Get yourself a thermometer, because some stoves I've read can be off at 25 degrees. So you want to make sure that it is actually getting up to around the 180. Okay, so you can put it in the oven, or you can put it back in your kettle and, you know, crank it up to that temperature, 180, and just stir it just to kind of get all of the liquid around the same temperature, if that makes sense. Okay, and then from there, what you're gonna do, 30 minutes. And man, let me tell you something. First time I did this, I was blown away. The vapors, the smell of ethanol, or of alcohol, boiling off, strong. So 30 minutes of that, and your beer will be about a 0.05%. Okay, so pretty much non-alcoholic, no alcohol in it. Orange juice has 0.05%. So no way you could ever get intoxicated drinking 0.05% beer. Not going to happen. So that's about as low as you can get it using this process. And again, there's no way to, I do have a link that goes into some complicated method on my blog, on this post that you can go to on my blog to read more instructions about how to do this correctly. I do have a link that will show you a method you can use to go and confirm that the alcohol's gone. This is make beer easy, baby. Come on. I don't do any of that crap. I just do the 30 minutes, and trust me, when you start drinking it, you're gonna realize the alcohol should gone. Okay, so that's how it's done, guys. And then what do you do from there? Same as you always do. You're gonna cool your beer. If you're kegging her up, carbonate it up. If you are bottle priming, you actually need to add yeast and sugar into it in order to get the carbonation. Okay, so you just do the same as you would any other time. Same amount of sugar, and you got to, again, repitch a whole thing of yeast. So if you're using, dry yeast, just a whole sack of yeast, you got to repitch the whole thing again. Okay, so just you can add the sugar. You can add the sugar before you boil it if you want. Doesn't matter. The boil won't kill off the sugar, but it does kill off the yeast. See, when you're bottling normal beer, what happens is there's still yeast alive after fermentation. When you put it in the bottles and add the sugar, the little yeasties that are alive, they come back alive, and they eat that sugar, and that produces the carbonation. Okay, so in this case, when we boiled it, at 180, okay, alcohol's boiling point, it killed the yeast. All right. So in order to get the carbonation, again, this is only if you're bottling. You're kegging, you're golden. You don't got to worry about this. But if you're bottling, you've got to put the sugar, same amount of bottling sugar, priming sugar as you would. I put links on how to bottle on this blog post, so you can go read over that. You're gonna put the sugar back in. You're gonna repitch a whole new thing of yeast in. Okay, and just stir it up. Give it a little stir. You gotta be careful with the stirring. We don't want to get oxygen in there. So, and then you go ahead through the process of bottling. Okay, be easy with the, as I was saying, stir it up. That you gotta be careful. Okay, so a lot of people will put the sugar in before they boil it. That way it sterilizes the sugar that they're doing, and then they just pitch the yeast in, and you do got to get it moving around a little bit because you want it to be dispersed all through, and then you're going to bottle it. Okay, makes sense. That's what I got for you guys. Again, give it a try. Using the oven idea, you could take, let's say you made 6 gallons of beer. You could take 2 gallons and go try this, see what you think. Ways to make it taste better: start with a full-bodied beer, like I talked about. My gut is that a lot of these commercial brewers are dry hopping afterwards. You could dry hop in the keg. If you were doing the keg, why not drop some Citra or Mosaic or whatever into the keg with it? Sanitary. You don't have to worry about it spoiling your beer, because hops are, they're what's the word I'm looking for? They fight off any infection type of deal. They're preservative. So, go ahead and dry hop in the keg. That's going to bring some flavor back into it as well. So, experiment with it. See what you think. Give it a go. Why the hell not? It's a little strange taking the alcohol out of a beer. It's, like I say, it's a little hard on that. Geez, I hope I got a sunburn there. My nose look like Rudolph the damn red-nosed reindeer. Anyway, guys, that's what I got for you. Let me know if you got any questions. If you brew it up, let me know. If you've already been making some of this stuff, let me know. And if I can help you out, by all means, drop some questions down below. Subscribe to the channel. If you're on the blog, sign up and get my free top 5 beer brewing recipes. These were my top 5 favorite in my pub that I brewed. And you'll also get 29 tips to make sure you brew a good beer every time. Oh, yeah. That's what I get, guys. Big Robb's out here to get you brew on.